Hello, beautiful souls, and welcome to this 2026 predictions pick a card reading. This reading is going to be giving you a little overview of what you can expect, what energies will be guiding you, your guidance, your advice for 2026. So we have four piles here, starting on the far left with the black tourmaline crystal. Snowflake obsidian crystal on the far left. Into the middle, we've got the clear quartz crystal, pile 2, pile 3 with the Sunstone, and then pile 4 with that Pinolith crystal there. So you have pile 1 on the far left, pile 2, 3, and 4. Timestamps are all below. Once you've made your selection, you can skip straight to your reading. If you chose pile 1 with this Snowflake obsidian crystal, then this is your reading. So pile 1, your overall theme for the year, you have this 3 of Pentacles card. So it's definitely a year of high achievement. You have the potential to reach some incredible new heights, to set some ambitious goals, and to meet them. Okay? If you're thinking, oh, I can't set that as a goal, or I can't dream about achieving this year because it's just pie in the sky, I will never do it. No, pile 1, you can do it. This is the year to dream big, to set ambitious goals, and to aim high, because you have the potential to do it. And then you're going to be like this acrobat here in the middle, just absolutely crushing it. I kind of want to say effortlessly, but that's not to say, I think it might look effortless to people looking on, being like, wow, they're amazing, they're achieving all these things. But you'll know that nothing is an overnight success, and that it's going to be the culmination of years of laying the foundation towards these goals that you will finally achieve and reap the rewards from in 2026. I do feel like there's a word of caution, though, in terms of just honoring your energy, not depleting your energy. There's definitely potential to achieve a lot in 2026, but just make sure that you're not burning the candle at both ends. Like the moon waxes and wanes, this is the waxing crescent. You might face periods where you're more tired, or you feel a little bit drained or burnt out. It's important to let your energy rebuild in those moments. You also might feel times where you're emotionally drained or emotionally depleted, and that can have an impact on your body as well, and how joyful you feel. Yellow is the color of the solar plexus, so very much a year of personal power, of proving to yourself that you can set your sights on big goals and achieve them, and you have the power to create the life that you want. But just word of caution, make sure it doesn't tip the balance into self-will, trying to control everything around you, like jumping through hoops to make things happen and trying to force anything. You don't need to force anything, pile 1. All these blessings and things are coming to you. Just stay consistent, keep doing what you're doing, and the hard work and effort will pay off in 2026. I also think there's going to be a combination of things coming to a head, things that you've been working towards for a long time, building up over years, potentially, ambitions, dreams. And then there's also going to be maybe something that you start in 2026 that will be the next thing, that you work towards for the next few years. Because we are at the beginning of a 9-year cycle as well in numerology. Numerologically speaking, 2026 is a number 1 year. We finished out a 9-year cycle in 2025. So this is a fresh start, a new beginning. And yeah, it's good to think ahead. So there might be a lot of enjoyment and success in the short term, thinking about this singular year in 2026, but it might do you good as well to look at the long term. What do I want my life to look like in 9 years time, or even 5 years or 3 years time, and then start setting the wheels in motion for that as well. And I feel like there's a message as well about being emotionally ready and ripe to allow those dreams to come to fruition. So we have blessings and we have challenges. So blessings, surfing the internet. Okay, so you might meet someone important online in 2026. You might make a significant connection online, whether that's, professional or personal. You might learn something really important, or be studying online. But certainly you're using the amazing magic of the internet that connects us to people on the other side of the world, that is a wealth of information. You're using it for good, and it has the potential to be a real blessing in your life in 2026, harnessing the power of technology in general. The challenges is dancing, and what I heard straight away, there's like little lightning bolts on these cards, and I heard straight away that new Taylor Swift song from the new album that's like, you were dancing through the lightning strikes. Okay? And it's kind of evoking that same imagery of, this person jumping through hoops, or, doing acrobatic moves, being flexible. So whatever challenges there are in your 2026, it's not quite clear what the challenges themselves will be. But whatever they are, you're going to be able to move through them with grace. It's going to be like you're in this beautiful waltz with your challenges, and you see them as a partner that you can waltz with, rather as someone, the card is dancing, it's not fighting. You're not trying to fight the challenges. Or if you have the urge to fight the challenges, you're being encouraged to, how can you dance with them instead? How can you dance through the lightning strikes? How can you dance in the rain? Greet life's storms with grace, and just see it as a learning opportunity. See it as an opportunity for you to grow and to come out stronger on the other side, and just trust that everything's happening for you. Nothing is happening against you. No one has it out for you. The universe has your back. But sometimes I believe, anyway, your personal philosophy might be different, but sometimes I believe that our soul chooses to go through certain challenges or to experience certain things because that's just part of our evolution. And it doesn't mean that, it means that, sometimes we experience things that are difficult, but that's just all part of life, the light and the shadow. We can't truly appreciate the light, and the joy when you're having those high points without the shadow. So it might be a bit of a year of contrast for you. The highs might feel extremely high and extremely intense, and the lows might feel really low. But we can't avoid either of those things, and either of those things are just part of the human, both of those things are just part of the human experience. But I do feel like you're going to be finishing the year feeling quite balanced and on top of everything. You've got the Knight of Swords. This is your outcome for the year. So definitely renewed clarity, renewed sense of conviction, especially mental clarity. I do feel like study or learning about a new topic or a new subject or something is in your 2026. And I feel like that is going to take you in a very significant direction for the next 9 years. It's going to be a thread that you follow. So just feeling very confident and very sure about that. And yeah, I think you're going to end the year, very mentally strong, very sure of where you're going and what you want, and you're not going to let circumstances or anyone stop you from getting what you want. So strong finish for the end of the year, pile 1. I do hope this reading resonated. Please remember that this is a general reading, so just trust what resonates, leave the rest. You can always return to it as the year unfolds. But if you would like a personal 2026 predictions reading, I go into detail month by month of specifically what you can expect, what energies are guiding you, the guidance, the advice month by month for 2026. If you would like to receive that, I do it via video or email, whichever you prefer. Please do just visit the link in the description box, and I'd love it if you could like and subscribe to my channel as well. Happy 2026. Okay, pile 2, if you chose the clear quartz crystal, this is your reading for 2026. Okay, so the first cards we're going to look at are your overall theme, the overall energy of your year, and the advice. So we have the Knight of Swords, or the Knight of Knives as it's known, in this deck. So the overall theme being the Knight of Swords, I feel like it's going to be a very fast-paced year. There's going to be a lot of always feeling like you're trying to keep up, perhaps, or you're just always on the move, whether that's literally, physically, or, you know, your mind is just always racing. Swords tend to deal with the mental plane. So there's potentially a lot of thoughts going to be running through your head, a lot of things to consider, a lot of decisions that need to be made potentially, and they need to be made quickly. So it's really going to test your ability to remain calm under pressure. But it's also going to be a year where you're very much in the present because there's so much going on. You don't really have the capacity to look too far in the future. So I suppose that could be, a double-edged sword in some ways. I'm able to be really present because there's so much to deal with, but on the other hand, there is so much to deal with and it's perhaps a little bit overwhelming. But just know that we never stay in those periods forever, periods where you feel like there's so much going on and there's so much that needs my attention and it's all just a lot. That won't last forever. It might just be a season or that 1 year. But everything ebbs and flows just like the seasons. Sorry. Taking the moonlight is your advice. So this is like, it really seems to be like the antithesis of the energy of this card. So taking the moonlight is kind of like stopping to smell the roses, that kind of energy. Like there might not be a lot of opportunity for pause and just being able to relish and enjoy the simple pleasures in life. But Spirit's asking you to find time to enjoy the simple pleasures, to look around you at the beauty and the blessings and tune into that gratitude for your life and for the good things in your life when you can, because that's what's going to really see you through any challenges or, difficulties or heavy things that might be going on. This is also a card of like, it's that energy of not having to commit to anything in a good way, like just enjoy it in the moment for what it is. Don't try to label it. Don't try to tie it down. Don't worry about what it's going to look like tomorrow or in 5 years' time. Whether that's talking about a relationship or a job or a career path, just enjoy it. Enjoy it for what it is right now. And truly engage all of your senses when you're committing to live in the present moment. So we've got your blessings and your challenges. So your blessing is going to hell, and you might be like, why is going to hell a blessing? So going to hell, I associate this card very strongly with the Devil card in Tarot. And the Devil card is, it's all about breaking the cycle or the chains of things that are keeping us stuck, of things that are unhealthy for us, breaking cycles of addiction and codependency and cutting ties with toxic relationships and toxic people and all those sort of things. So it may be a year where you feel like you go to hell and back. And that's really not to scare you. You know, every single year for all of us faces challenges. We face challenges and we face blessings. Every single year has ups and downs. Some years have more ups than downs. Some years have more downs than up. So this is not to scare you. This is a general reading after all. But I think the main message here is like, it might not feel like a blessing in the moment when you're going through something difficult and you're like, I'm in literal hell. You know, this is really difficult. This is really hard. And, you know, that could be very much an internal battle. You know, if you have been struggling with addiction or breaking a cycle, a pattern of behavior, a pattern of thinking even, or a relationship that's not serving you, whatever it is, I think the blessing will be that you're finally going to be able to come out of it, to come out the other side in 2026 and be like, thank God I don't live there anymore. You know, thank God I'm not in hell anymore. I've been to hell and back, and now I kind of really appreciate, you know, the joys and the blessings and what I feel grateful for. It feels all the more intense because I've known such darkness. You're really going to be able to appreciate the light in your life. The blessings, you have horseback riding. Okay, so that could be really literal. You know, maybe you are someone who enjoys horseback riding, or working with animals in general. You know, might have opportunities for working with animals or going on exciting adventures. You know, one time I went to an alpaca farm and you could just walk the alpacas around some fields. That was really fun. You know, you might have opportunities like that. But I do also associate this card with like, you know, sexual relationships, and romance and things like that. So there might be a degree of sexual fulfillment, awakening, healing for you this year. And I think that kind of ties back to the taking the moonlight. You know, don't try to overanalyze relationships, friendships, whatever it may be, or get caught up in your head in it. Try to experience it through all of the senses, and be truly present and just grateful for what it is in the moment. The outcome of your year is the Seven of Swords. So the Seven of Swords sometimes can be an energy of deception, whether that is from a person on the outside or whether it's like, you know, you not being honest with yourself. But I do feel like you're going to end the year, if you've been deceiving yourself, you're going to have the opportunity to come out of denial at the end of 2026. And also, if other people have been pulling the wool over your eyes, or, you know, there's people that you don't trust in your life, you're going to be able to trust your intuition around that. Because sometimes we deceive ourselves, we're in denial about our own behaviors and our own choices and the things that we're doing that we know aren't good for us, but, you know, we tell ourselves everything's fine. And we can do the same for other people in our lives as well. We can be like, no, it's fine. They're not hurting me. It's fine. They're going to change, or whatever it may be. And we're just not honest with ourselves about, you know, the true nature of the people we surround ourselves with, because, you know, we're blinkered and we have these rose tinted glasses on, or, you know, we really do love them, and that kind of means that we make excuses for these people in our lives. But B, it can be, you know, if you've spent a lifetime being gaslit by people or taught not to trust your intuition or trust your inner knowing, then it can be hard to, you know, reawaken to that and be like, no, like I feel deep in my gut that something's not right. 2026 is definitely has the potential to be the year that you take off the rose tinted glasses and you reconnect to your intuition, and you follow that. You follow the thread of that intuition. And that will never steer you wrong, honestly. It might take some practice at first, trying to discern, okay, what's intuition and what's just, my own anxiety. This Knight of Swords energy tells me that, you might be someone who generally suffers with anxiety, or, you're a bit of a worrier in general. So it might be hard for you to trust yourself in that way, if your intuition's trying to tell you something's not right. But for me, how I discern, what's just anxiety and fear-based thinking, and what is my intuition trying to tell me, alarm bells, something's wrong. I feel it deep in my gut. I feel it like in my heart. I feel it in my belly when it's my intuition. And when it's fear or anxiety, it tends to be more in my head. And sometimes that can manifest as like, physical illness or sensations in the body, but it's hard to describe. When it's intuition, it's more of like a grounded feeling. It's more of a calm knowing. And when it's anxiety, it's like I'll have the impulse to do something, to change something, to try to grab onto things, to shift everything. I need to control, I need to do it all myself. So yeah, that might take some practice discerning, between anxiety and intuition, but it's a learning curve, and I think you have the potential to do that. So bottom line, pile 2, just enjoy the good times. Take those moments of strolling in the moonlight, that a metaphor for smelling the roses when you can. And whatever challenges you face, try to trust your intuition, and trust that you have the strength to make it through as well, because you do. You absolutely do. If you would like a personal 2026 predictions reading, this is a reading where I, for you personally, go through month by month, January to December, what energies are guiding you, what you can expect, your advice, always for your highest and best good. If you would like a reading like that, I do it via video like this, or via email, whichever you would find most useful. Please do just check out the link in the description box below. Also, if you haven't already, please do like and subscribe, and I wish you all the best for the coming year. Okay, if you chose pile 3 with this Sunstone crystal, this is your reading. So for 2026, first of all, your overall theme of the year and your advice, we're going to look at these cards. So you have the Emperor and you have Lover's Moon. Okay, so there's strong, divine masculine, divine counterpart, soulmate energy here with the Lover's Moon. Either you are the Emperor, or you're going to meet your Emperor, or come into deeper alignment and deeper connection. If you're already in a relationship with your divine counterpart, with a soulmate, with someone who like, this is my person and we're in this for the long haul. So you're either going to be meeting that person in 2026, or you're going to be deepening that existing connection. And the Emperor as well speaks of stability, speaks of leadership, speaks of grounded intention, and ruling with compassion and kindness. So being a leader in your own life, and being someone who leads and inspires others as well, through love, through compassion. Kind of breaking that paradigm of leaders and rulers have to be like dictators, and they have to be harsh and cruel and strict and power hungry. You're part of this new age where we want to demonstrate that we can lead from compassion and kindness. And it doesn't mean we don't have conviction and we don't get things done, but we're very much connected to our heart centers. So big themes for your year. We've got here your blessings and your challenges. So your blessings, facial hair. So whether you've already met this person or they're going to be coming into your lives, this, soulmate, divine counterpart, romantic partner. They could have significant facial hair, like a beard. This could be something that you find really attractive. It could also be, you just becoming more comfortable with your physical body, with your beauty, your physical beauty, allowing that to radiate outwards. If you've had challenges with low self-esteem and feeling really self-conscious about how you look, sometimes people have beards because they want to like cover up their face, or they might feel self-conscious about the shape of their face or something. If you've like felt the need to hide or cover up imperfections or blemishes or whatever in the past, I feel like 2026 could be the year where you just let that go. You stop worrying so much about how you look, and you accept that, yes, I have imperfections, but that's what makes me human. We all have imperfections, and the world would be a very boring place if we all looked the same. And I think it's also about challenging beauty standards and knowing that you don't need to change yourself to fit any particular standard of beauty or anyone else's standard of beauty, because I really do feel strongly that this person, this relationship that you have in your life, there's someone, they love you just the way you are, and in turn you should love yourself just the way you are. Challenge is parenting. Okay, so maybe you have children already. Maybe you're going to be welcoming a child into your life in some way. You might face challenges along the way. I'm sure there is not a parent on this planet who has not faced challenges at some point in that process. Just give yourself a lot of grace, a lot of compassion. It's really important that you work as a team, with your partner, with the people that you love, that you lean on the people that you love for support, that you don't suffer in silence or in isolation. There's that phrase, it takes a village to raise a child. So yeah, just don't be afraid to reach out for support and find community that supports you as well. Reach out to the wider community. If you don't have a support network, create that support network. You've got this emperor energy. It's really good energy for being a leader. If there isn't a community around you that you can be a part of that feels supportive and nourishing, just create that community for yourself. That's what I did with my Cosy Coven community for neurodivergent witches. This is the kind of community I wanted to be a part of, so I created it for myself. And that might be something that you find yourself doing as well. Your outcome of the year is the Page of Cups. So, a really nice outcome for the year. Page of Cups is all about stopping to smell the roses, really enjoying the beauty of life. It's that energy of the romantic, of the creative, the poet, the writer, the artist. So, because we've got that parenting card as well, it makes me think, there might be, you might have a child or a young person in your life who's very creative, and a joy or a blessing for you in 2026 is that you really get to see them blossom in their gifts and in their creativity, and maybe you've been supporting them in that as well. So it could be really satisfying to see them fulfill their dreams. And it could be a message for you as well, just really feeling blessed, feeling like, you can just drink in the goodness of life, that, there might be challenges. There's always going to be something that requires our attention or that we'd like to change, or that isn't quite right. But even with all the imperfections, I feel like you're going to end 2026 with being like, you know what? Life is pretty good. Life is pretty good at the moment. And, I'm going to relish these good moments, and I'm going to write poetry, and I'm going to express my creativity. And I'm just going to see where my intuition and where my joy takes me. Okay, so pile 3, this was your reading for 2026. I really do hope it resonated. It's a general reading, so do just take what resonates, leave the rest. You can always come back to it to see how true it is as the year unfolds. But if you would like a personal 2026 predictions reading, this is a reading where I go month by month in detail what energies are guiding you, what's your guidance, what's your advice, month by month, January to December 2026. If you would like a reading like that, I deliver it via video or email. Please do just follow the link in the description box below, and if you haven't already, please do like and subscribe. Sending you lots and lots of love. Hello, if you chose pile 4 with this Pinolith crystal, then this is your reading and your 2026 prediction. So, just going to get my camera in focus. Ta-da, here we go. These first 2 cards are about your overall theme, energy, guidance for the year. So we have the Knight of Pentacles, first of all. And this is a really nice card. It's sort of a card of feeling grounded, having your finances in order. And it's a card of respect, so feeling respected by the people in your life, and also respecting yourself, having self-respect, feeling very much valued by the people in your life. And it also just feels like with this lucky star, in the practical, material, financial realm, there might be some lucky breaks. And you're going to be very grateful for that. I am struggling to get this in focus, which is interesting. There might be a sense this year of struggling to see things clearly. So you might have to zoom out to get a better perspective, or sometimes maybe you'll have to zoom in and focus on the finer details. So perspective is certainly something to be aware of this year. Am I seeing things clearly? Do I need to get another opinion or an outside view or an impartial view on this situation? The imagery in this card as well is really interesting. You've got the moon phases around here. You've got the pentagram, the symbol of protection and unity and cohesion. So there might be ebbs and flows in your year. People coming in and out of your life, moments of joy and high energy, and moments where energy is a bit lower and everything feels a little bit darker. But the Knight of Pentacles card tells me that whatever comes your way, you're going to be able to meet these ebbs and flows with grace, with humility, and with an attitude of surrender. Just accepting what comes and dealing with it as best you can. For the challenges, you've got moving. So this could be literal. Maybe you're moving house and you weren't planning to necessarily, and that could be a challenge. Moving houses can always be challenging anyway. There's a lot of moving parts and a lot of things to think about. That phrase just came up as well, moving parts. So it could just be there's a lot of things for you to consider, a lot of different aspects and areas of your life where there's a lot of change happening. 23, if you reduce it down, is number 5, which is all about change and sometimes chaos. So there might just be a lot of different things happening, a lot of different things to consider. And that can be challenging when there's more than one thing that requires your attention. But it all comes back to this Knight of Pentacles card, just Focus on what you can control, let go of what you can't. Blessings. You have dinner. So you might be going for some lovely meals in 2026. That might be one of the things that's gifted to you, you know, this lucky star. You might get unexpected gifts of a nice meal out or a takeaway that you weren't expecting. And it also speaks to me just of family life. I'm seeing an image of, you know, people gathered around a table, sharing a meal together, having dinner together. And I think that speaks to this, you know, this might not relate to one specific person in your life. It could relate to several, but I feel like there's people who are really grounding presences in your life, whether they're your friends or they're your family, and staying close to them is what's going to help you to stay grounded this year when there are perhaps a lot of things moving around you. You know, it's an important journaling prompt or question for you to reflect on for this year is, what is my foundation? What keeps me grounded when everything around me is changing and all is chaos? You know, what can I hold on to? What's my support system? This is your card. The Seven of Cups is how you're going to end the outcome of your year. So Seven of Cups is generally a card that points to a lot of choices, a lot of opportunities coming up. And that can be a bit of a double-edged sword. You know, it can be really exciting and feel really abundant, and sometimes it can also be overwhelming, and you know, this sense of, okay, well, now I've got to make a decision. I've got all these choices, but what is the right one? What's the right path? And I think it comes back to, you know, leaning into your foundation and trusting that there is really no wrong decision. You know, the worst thing you can do is not make a decision. That's how you get stuck and stagnant. When faced with a lot of different paths, you know, just use your discerning judgment, think it through, trust your intuition. It's good to have a balance of intuition and gut feeling, and then also, you know, practical, analytical, logical research. I think a combination of those two things is the best when it comes to assessing different opportunities. And you know, is this a yes in my heart? Is it a no? Making sure that you're not choosing something just because you think it's the right choice or it's what you should do or it's what, you know, other people, you know, people outside your circle of trust are telling you is the right thing to do, or that society's telling you is the right thing to do. It's important to follow your heart and to follow what is going to bring you the most joy, your highest excitement, as it were. So yeah, summary: a lot of change potentially in your year, but also a lot of blessings, a lot of unexpected gifts could be dropping in. And yeah, with change and chaos sometimes also comes adventure and excitement. So you're just being invited to ride those waves and trust the process of everything. I really do hope this resonated for you, Pile 4. You know, just take what resonates, leave the rest. Remember that this is a general reading. If you would like a personal, just for you 2026 predictions reading, where I go in detail through each month from January to December, talking about, you know, the energy that's guiding you, the guidance, the advice, what to look out for, what to expect. And I deliver it via video or email, whichever you would like. If you would like a reading like that, it's £20.26 for 2026. And just check out the link in the description. And if you haven't already, please do like and subscribe and follow. And welcome to the Cosy Coven community. And I wish you a happy new year. Take care.